because you remember back in the day, everything kind of went. You can make jokes about people's orientation. You can make jokes about people's race and religion. Where that was acceptable then, that's really not acceptable now, even though comedians are supposed to push the boundaries. So you have to be careful. You have to evolve with the evolving and the changing of the times. Has that been difficult?
You know what? It has always been a part of the comedian. It has always been there. It's never going to be something different. It has always been there. It is actually what we have to deal with constantly is being PC, and you know, we've always had to deal with that. But you gotta realize, you know, like Eddie, you know, you can't pull up those old albums.
No.
You know, you gotta almost admit you were thinking different back then. You almost gotta come out, you know what, you gotta almost say it yourself. You can't allow them to pull your albums up and start to dissect it. You gotta say, you know what, man, that era, that time period, woo, we got away with so much.
Yes.
You know, anybody who in this in this time, I gotta say, hey, that was some early year stuff in my youth. I took some chances in comedy, but people, you know what? People loved it, and the times were different. Of course, I would never do any of those things nowadays because it just doesn't fit the times. Everybody's too PC, you know. And I would never, you know, degrade or say anything bad about women or you know, or your gender. You know, it just, you know. I'll take this. This is a good example. So I had to pull up my old comedy special, and I was like, man, so this is a bit I used to do. People used to love it. So I used to do this bit about police officers, right?
Right.
And I would sit there and do this whole run on. I talked about how, you know, living in LA, everybody's always running from the police. You know, these all you see are these high speed car chases all the time. I said, man, and these, you know, I said, and police officers, this is like years ago, but like 5 years ago, but police officers, you know, would get mad because when they blow your tires out, they put a spike strip down and blow your tire, you get out the car and start running. And it's a whole 15-minute bit about how once you get out the car and start running, a police officer get mad as hell because he got all that shit on that belt. And I put everything on the belt you can think of. But it's all about, you know, how, you know, criminals and police officers. Now, back then, of course, the joke was relevant because people do run a lot in LA. You know, you know, they love to run out here. You know, they will have a cop chasing them all day if they had to until the car ran out of gas. And you try to watch TV.
They still put those chases on TV out here.
And you run out. You be mad because they interrupt your TV show. You be like, God, can't watch nothing out here. You know, you like, man, they would interrupt anything out here in LA. They would. I said they would interrupt the damn DVD. They don't give a damn. And so I did this whole bit about police chasing people and catching you and all this stuff on the belt. I talk about they had a gun, taser, bullets, you know, breathalyzer, that damn a lie detector, a coffee maker. I had all this stuff on the belt. And I said, man, they be mad because they got all that mess on the belt. They chasing you and all that stuff is shaking around and spilling coffee and stuff. And man, it's hilarious, right? And then I said the damn cop was so mad, you know. And this is, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna wrap this up at the end. I said, when they catch you, they be so mad at you. I said that the cop pulled his billy club out and he's so mad that you made him chase you. I said he hit himself in the back and then he hit you like boom, 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 boom. That's how mad he was at you. Now, that's the times we live in, right? We talked about how a lot of comedians, because we have to make the obvious, we have to make pain, we have to take whatever's going on in the world, make it relevant, because believe it or not, laughter is the cure for a lot of things that we are going through. And I say this all the time. If you think there wasn't at least one funny slave in the midst of all that, on those plantations, you had to have one dude. You had to have one dude when they finished working on the plantation. You had to have one dude who had to take the sting off of what we going through, and he'll stay on that box. Boy, he be telling, boy, let me tell you something. He be talking about the damn slave owners. Boy, he be going in on them damn fools. Because they be laughing their ass off. Boy, you do got a tight ass. You know what I mean? You have to. You have to have that separation of what is happening and how to deal with it. Right now, Shannon, we going through a terrible time right now.
Yes.
Terrible.
Yes.
Pandemics. Black Lives Matter. We're going through a terrible presidential race. We're going through it. 2020 is it. Like you said, people are going to be saying, man, that's so 2020 of you. I'm telling you, it's going to come a time, Shannon, when this climate, this time period, our timeline we are living in right now, it's going to come a time when a comedian's going to go on stage and completely clown 2020.
Of course.
Even though death, even though pandemics, even though police brutality, even though you name it, the rise of racial, racist groups, even in the midst of all this, you cannot function mentally if all you hear is negative, negative, negative.
You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button to become an official member of Club Shay Shay, where we always do something for two something.